All right, what's up, motherfuckers?
Woo, woo, woo.
Okay, well, we're gonna leave that in. It is what it is. All right, so in this video, we're gonna talk about something that is really cool, and that a lot of people at first you're gonna be skeptical that this is even possible. It's so out of your reality. You should probably actually move a little in the frame, yeah.
How close
Not
should
to
we
where
get?
we're like cuddling, but
Okay.
a little more in the frame.
That's behind the
All right.
scenes. That's extra.
Well, now someone's going to make a video about that one. I think you know exactly who I'm talking about. All right. So, in this video, we're going to talk about something that most guys probably believe is impossible. They've never done it, they've never even thought that you could do it. And it's something that at first you're probably going to be skeptical of it. But what I recommend is try what we talk about, try it in your own life, actually put it into action. And you're going to be shocked at how often this works. And what we're going to be talking about is how to pull girls within 5 minutes of meeting them. And if you're skeptical, I understand that. My buddy Nerdy Romeo here, what's Steven, you don't have a fake name. Which I kind of regret not having a fake YouTube dating coach name. It's caused me issues, but that's aside the point. Nerdy Romeo has infield, and do I have infield of 2-minute pools? I'm not sure.
You do.
I might have infield of it as well, but I know he has at least a couple infields where he shows himself approaching girls and taking them home within 5 minutes, within even significantly less than 5 minutes. So we have proof that it's possible, but here we're going to break down the process step by step so that you know how to do it. And what is really cool about this is when I'm doing coaching or when I see my friends who are like not that great at game, the number one mistake I see, other than them being total bitches and not opening at all, that's number one. But number two is they open a girl, she's receptive, and what happens? You might be able to guess.
They leave after a while because they miss the body temperature.
Right. They either have a long conversation, it goes nowhere, right? It's a nice friendly conversation, and then the girl eventually is like, "It was nice meeting you," or the guy gets the flaky number when he really could have taken the girl home right then and there. Right? Both of those things happen all the time, and so what this is going to do is if you use this method, you're going to be able to consistently take girls home very quickly, and you're not going to waste time and have these frustrating long ass interactions that go literally nowhere. That is going to be extremely valuable for you. And over time, you'll find that you can actually, there's certain girls that are not that receptive at first that you need to rizz them up a little bit more, if you will, that take longer than 5 minutes. But there's a lot of girls that you could actually bring home within 5 minutes. You just weren't pulling the trigger properly. And that's what we're going to show you how to do step by step. So let's start with opening. When you're thinking about pulling very quickly, how do you go about the initial approach?
Basically, when you just want to talk to her and you want to see her situation, basically whether she's willing to leave with you. You gotta look at the body language too. There's indicators in interest, how she looks at you, whether she plays with her hair, just the overall vibe. Some girls are just down for anything. If you feel like that's one of the girls you're talking to, that's gonna be really easy. And also girls with tattoos, tongue rings, stuff like that. That's something that I look out for.
Good signs. It is a scientific fact that women with tattoos are more promiscuous. Of course, if there's a girl by herself, that's great, although that's not that common. But there are things like that. And then generally, like if there's a girl who's with her friends and they're literally not talking, right? They're not even talking. They're just like looking around, or just like they look like they want attention. Like pay attention to that, because those are good opportunities. Whereas girls are like deep in a super serious conversation, it can still be done, but it's more difficult.
The best is when a girl's arguing with her friends and like, get out of my face. You're like, come on with me.
Or with a guy she's on a date with.
Yeah, it's like bad awkward blind date. You come in, you save the day.
And you give her what she needs.
Get what you wanted.
So in terms of opening, I would say when you're going for fast pulls, the most important thing is opening very strong, right? With high tension, or you could call it high pressure, high intensity. So you're not opening in a way that's like being as suave as possible, trying to be like James Bond, opinion opener, ladies, blah, blah, like trying to work your way in very indirectly, right? And to have a very chill conversation first. And then, no, you don't do that. What you do is you go in strong. You make your intentions very clear right at the beginning. One thing I noticed that you do a lot is you're extremely physical on the open, right? The way you open is not, "Hi, it's nice meeting you." It's, hi, right? It's more like that.
Whoa, whoa. Someone's gonna make a video about
Got to do a
that.
good demonstration. So you come in very physical, you get close proximity, you're not like getting a lot of distance, very strong eye contact, and then you're making your intentions clear, right? You'll often even ask if the girl's single, which is a very direct thing to say. And when a girl's not single, or she says no, obviously you're killing the interaction, but you're also not wasting time. And if she gives you that compliance, it's a very big green light that you're going to be able to take things further.
So the main thing is going strong and then adjust or calibrate after. So you want to see how much you can get away with. And with enough experience, you know how to push it as well as pull back when it's needed to. So you don't scare her
And so
away.
how do you pull back when necessary? Like, what are some examples?
Give it like we said, be physical where you go in really strong and you're like really close to her. You basically give her space after she's uncomfortable. You step back, you basically know her that you're not like basically on the whole time. You know how to respect her boundaries if she's feeling uncomfortable.
Okay. And so after the initial approach, how do you start to lead things forward? Right? Because if you're constrained, you only have 5 minutes to pull. How are you going to go from, okay, I think you're hot or whatever, to let's get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, so me and Avery, we would do a line where we say, "Let's get out of here." It's like kind of like a joke between us, but it actually works. You could say, "Let's get out of the girl," and if the girl's actually interested, because you opened so well and so polarizing, and you got really interested and hooked just off the open, which I'm able to do most of the time. If you say, "Let's get out of here," if they're bored, they'll leave with you. That's literally could be like a 2-line
If
pull.
they're bored, if they just broke up with a guy, if maybe it's their birthday, sometimes literally it's they're ovulating. Like, you don't know why, but there's a certain percentage of girls, and this is a great thing to be aware of. There's no girls, maybe girls, yes girls. No girls, unless you are like, the greatest seducer of all time, you're Casanova, you can maybe make something happen, but it's extremely difficult. It's a girl who's like in a committed relationship and she's not a cheater, for example, right? That's very difficult. You don't really need to focus on those unless you're already at an extremely high level. Maybe girls is probably like the highest percentage. There's a lot of girls who are maybe girls, but it's not going to be super easy, right? You have to be a little bit more suave. You have to you're going to get more objections. You have to do things to make them interested enough to actually go home with you, right? But the yes girls, which is maybe not the biggest percentage of girls, but it's more than most guys think, you don't really have to do much at all. You just have to have enough intensity, right? Like the eye contact, physicality, and lead and not be a bitch, right? There's a certain percentage where that's all you have to do. And if you're not pulling those girls, why worry about the advanced like seduction tricks to get the maybe girls and the no girls? Like, I'm going to learn a hypnotic voice pattern or some bullshit, which is what most guys are focusing on, when you aren't even getting the yes girls, where all you have to do is a very straight line, open direct, lead, go for the pull, deal with the objections, right? And it's very simple. And once you're getting those girls, then you can start worrying about the maybe girls. And then once you've done that, if you're, then you can go to the no girls perhaps eventually. But the main thing is you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the opportunities where the girl is receptive and she is down, and you're not taking too long, you're not leading it forward and it goes nowhere. So, hey, let's get out of here. A lot of girls are going to be, I can't leave my friend. I can't leave yet. So how do you deal with these kinds of objections?
Yeah, so I think this is the last video me and Avery did. If it's a fat friend, find someone that likes fat friends. Grab a random guy.
Shout out to my friend Ollie.
We got bring him in here. Best wingman. Eats all the marshmallows you could eat. So,
but there was one the other week at one of the clubs where the girl had a fat friend, and you pulled her away from the friend anyway. So why don't you break down how you did that?
Basically, I don't know. I think the girl was so invested in me already that she basically would.
It looked like she was kind of rejecting the idea at first of going home with you, but eventually you turned it around.
I was just really polarizing. I brought it into my reality with going in really strong, basically being really funny, walking a thin line between cocky and confident, where she basically told her friend, you know what, just stay here. I could trust myself with this guy. We're going to leave and we'll come back. So she made
and she never came back.
Yeah, she's gone forever.
Well, okay, I didn't mean that. I meant to the club, but all right, there's some self-snitching.
But basically, reach a certain point in game where if a girl is really interested in you, she'll tell her friends, I can make my own decisions. I want to go home with this guy. And a lot of girls, they will argue with the friends and they'll still come home with you. And you do that by showing the girls that you're worth it. You're worth coming home to, that this opportunity doesn't come often, and that you're worth basically leaving her normal lifestyle with her friends to go home with a stranger you. You got to go in super strong, and you just got to demonstrate all your qualities that makes a guy sex worthy.
So that makes me think of a story because girls will go against their friends. They'll betray their values. They'll do whatever it takes if they're into you enough. There was one time, there was this girl who we had really good chemistry, but I was doing a boot camp and I couldn't leave my clients. And so I was with one of my clients, and he and the girl that he was with, she was engaged. My girl was super into me. Her friend was engaged. And she said, the girl I'm with, she said, I'm here to make sure that my friend, doesn't get in any trouble, that she's like a good bride to be or whatever. That's like her mission for the night. And after a certain point, I know that my client is not going to pull. So I say, it was nice, it was nice meeting you. Maybe we'll hang out sometime, whatever. And she then, because she really wants to go home with me, she literally puts my client and puts his face into her friend, who's getting married, by the way, into her face and has them make out. She gets them to proactively make out, getting her to cheat and betray her, husband to be or groom or whatever it's called. Get her to betray her man just so she could bang me. And then after that, I lost so much respect for her that I just walked away. But like, that was too much. She was hot, but that was too much. So if a girl is hooked strong enough, if you have enough intensity, you make yourself stand out and you just have no filters, no hesitation, right? The strong eye contact, physicality leading, they can sense you're very clear in your intentions and you have no shame about them. Even bad logistics can often be overcome, but there is also a dealing with the objections logically aspect too. So one of the ones you're going to get a lot is, I can't leave yet, or I can't leave my friends. So do you have any specific lines
I
you
want
say?
to elaborate on the previous topic
Sure.
first, though. I don't know if you guys watch my videos or whether it happened to you, but a lot of times a girl would say, I never slept with an Asian guy before. They say that to me all the time, especially on the receipts that I posted online. And the reason for this is it's about how the girl feels in the moment. If you make her feel so strongly in the moment, she would go against her morals and basically her friends if you make her feel like she never felt before, So it's about how girls feel in the moment.
Just like people will, all right, I mean, this is maybe not the best metaphor, but people will start doing like meth, even though they know it's a bad idea. But if someone sells it to them strong enough, they're like, it's amazing and they're having a great time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They'll do something that they know will ruin their entire lives just because it seems really fun, right?
Yeah, that's why you hear about people saying, like, I could even sell ice to an Eskimo. And basically, if you're so captivating and polarizing and convincing, a girl would do anything to sleep with you.
Yeah. So, okay, in terms of specific dealing with the objections, because if you're doing a very fast pull, you're going to get more objections. And one of the ones you're going to get the most is, I can't leave my friends, or, I can't go with you, things like that. So how do you deal with it?
Basically, you just ignore it. It's not really a big deal. Or you could say, I'll be back in, time constraint, 10 minutes. We'll come back. Don't worry about it. Or you could just ignore it like it's not a big deal. If you show the girl that it's not a big deal and that you're cool with it, and you actually 100% believe that it's not a big deal, she'll fit into your frame and she'll know that it's not a big deal. But if you want to, you can always say, we'll be back in 10 minutes. Don't worry about it.
All right. Do you have any last thoughts on the topic on how to pull girls in 5 minutes?
Anything you want to add to that one?
I mean, the only thing I would add is, you want to reduce their investment whenever possible, right? So you say, we'll be back, right? We can come back in 30 minutes. It's 2 minutes away, right? My place is very close.
Yeah.
We'll just do a couple shots, come back. You basically reduce the investment is the easiest way to do it. The other thing I would say is, if you want to pull in 5 minutes, a lot of it is about finding the right girl, which means if a girl is not being very receptive, be willing to leave immediately, right? If a girl asks me to buy her drinks, I'll be like, no, you want me to buy you drinks? Wouldn't that infantilize you and make it so I'm treating you like a child that can't take care of herself? That's very anti-feminist. So it was nice meeting you. Have a great night. And then, because I want to leave them like, maybe it's not the nicest thing, but I want to leave them going like, what the fuck?
You left such an impression on them, Avery.
Yeah. But I leave them is actually the point, right? I'll leave very quickly. Or if they say, if they won't leave their friends, right? If they just won't leave their friends, I'm willing to I'll try a few times to pull, and if it's not going to happen, I'll just move on, right? You got to be willing to move on if it's not going anywhere. And then also, you got to minimize the time between interactions. Like, you see any girl who might be receptive, maybe her situation isn't the best, right? Maybe she's walking quickly and it's hard to get to her. Maybe there's guys in her group, whatever. Just approach, 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 approach. And then when you find the one who is receptive, then you do all the specific things that we talked about in this video. Right. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, besides that, logistics is an important point, right? You want to stay close close to the place you're meeting her. Anywhere you're living, you want to find a spot that you're close by where it's not a big deal for her to come back with you.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. His channel is The Nerdy Romeo. We'll have a link in the description. He has a lot of infield, a lot of receipts, proof that he actually gets results. So if that's something that you're interested in, as opposed to, I don't know, Coach Corey Wayne, who just is, always him in the same background going, "Hi, guys, I'm a master at picking up girls. Trust me." I do not like that guy. That was a very specific example. But, the many coaches who have no infield, no receipts, if that's something that you want to steer away from and go towards someone who has proof of results, then make sure to check out his channel. Subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video, and leave a comment. Have you ever pulled girls in 5 minutes in your own life? Or is that something that seems totally impossible to you and that you don't even believe or that seems out of reach? Let us know in the comment section below.